The UK's nuclear deterrent is a key to Starmer's plans to keep Britain safe. I'm going to read into this more from The Independent, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an article from The Independent with the headline of the UK's nuclear deterrent is key to Starmer's plans to keep Britain safe. Labour leader Keir Starmer will meet with focused veterans and a group of his party's candidates when he's campaigning in northwest of England on Monday. Guys, while you're here, make sure you hit the like button and share across social media so others are notified of this video. So, probably by the time you guys may or may not have seen this video, he would have already had these, had met them. Now, obviously, I know many people are uncomfortable about the United Kingdom holding nuclear weapons and nuclear arms and whatnot, and especially those in Scotland, obviously holding nuclear submarines, obviously up there, is very uncomfortable, to say the least. And I totally understand this. And now I am kind of torn because of about nuclear weapons, because a part of me feels like it does keep us safe, while at the same time I feel uncomfortable about having such weapons of mass destruction at our disposal as well, and it doesn't sit right with me. And it does, when we look back at Ukraine, for example, when they got rid of their nuclear weapons, and now you look at the situation there and you wonder if they had nuclear weapons before the war, would Russia have invaded? It does leave questions, a bit of weird questions there. And I do think that and I know I know people may not like this, but at the moment, with how tensions are in the world, and there's still a lot of conflicts, I think there are a lot of things on edge. I do think we need to have some kind of having nuclear weapons do act as a deterrent to some extent, but I also completely understand why people will want to get rid of them entirely. I can definitely and respectively see the arguments to getting rid of them too. Yeah, it's a tough one for me, guys, because I'm not, and I really do care about safety and security of Britain's defences. I really do. But at the same time, I'm not comfortable about us having nuclear weapons either. But I also understand the means of why we have them. And I know some people may not buy into this whole deterrent thing, because no one's ever going to push the button. No one's going to be damn crazy enough to push the button. And the reality is, you just don't know. You just don't know. And, as long as they're there, you just don't know if someone's ever going to push that button. And it really will be the end of the world if literally bombs like these do drop. It is frightening, to say the least. But let's hear what Labour are saying here. So Keir Starmer will pitch Labour as the party of national security as he seeks to switch attention to defence matters during the general election campaign. So Labour leaders expect to meet with forced veterans with a group of his party candidates when he campaigns in the northwest of England on Monday. Keir will reaffirm his commitment to a nuclear deterrent triple lock, as well as his ambitions to increase defence spending 2.5% of gross domestic product, a measure of the size of the economy. Like I've said defence, I think, is very, very important. I have no problem with Keir obviously talking about defence and how important it is. I just wish that my general hope is that it will do more for the veterans. I've talked about veterans in separate videos about the situations that many are in right now, some of the conditions that some of them some of the barracks that they are in as well. More needs to be done to look after our British armed forces. Nowhere near good enough in any way, shape or form. Completely unacceptable. I've even had bless some people's in the comment section talking about some of the stories that some of their veterans have gone through, and my heart goes out to those who have shared those stories with me, and I greatly appreciate those stories you guys have shared with me. And it really does upset me how our armed forces are treated to some extent, because they really should be paid well looked after, treated with the highest degree of integrity and respect, and be in at least respectable accommodation but obviously we don't have that. But this is more about. But this piece here is more about the weapons, the aircraft carriers, fighter jets, the army force itself, like all this kind of stuff. And it's like, yeah, I mean, like you can increase the spending, and you can have all these wonderful gadgets and toys and whatnot, tanks and everything, but you need the soldiers to do them. And that's one of the issues that we have in this country, is when it comes to our armed forces. Now, obviously, there's been the talk about the conscription thing, which Sunak and that are offering. Now, there's actually been some people in the comment sections who have actually said that this would actually be a good thing. They think it would actually be a really good thing for the UK to have some kind of conscription. I don't agree with it. Me personally, I think it should be more people's choice. But my position is that if you want more people to join the British Armed Forces, you need to incentivize people to them. And right now, the incentives are just not there for people to join. It's not a case that people aren't interested or people don't want to join. It's because you've got to make it more. You've got to ensure the benefits that people get out of joining the armed forces. People see the benefits of it, people will more likely join it. But that for me is where the challenge lies. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has made it clear he wants to meet the 2.5% target by 2030, although Labour has so far declined to outlet its timeline, only noting that it will only do so when economic conditions allow. Labour says its nuclear deterrent triple lock involves a commitment to construct 4 new nuclear submarines in Barrow-in-Furness, maintaining Britain's continuous at sea deterrent, and the delivery of all future upgrades needed for the submarines to patrol the waters. The Vanguard class submarine are due to be replaced by bigger Dreadnought class submarines by 2030. Between 31 billion and 41 billion has been set aside for wider programs of replacing the Vanguard class submarines, according to the figures from the House of Commons Library. Sir Keir has been attempting to shift perception of Labour's defence stance following the party's time under the leadership of Jeremy Corbyn, a long-standing critic of NATO and Trident. Sir Keir said national security will always come first in the Change Labour Party I lead. Keeping the country safe is the bedrock of stability that the British people rightly expect from their government. My message is clear to them that Labour has changed, no longer the party of protest. Labour is the party of national security. The excellent former service personnel that are standing as Labour candidates are testament to that change. He added, in the face of increasing threats to national security, actions will speak louder than words. That's why, alongside our unshakable commitment to NATO, an incoming Labour government will introduce a triple lock commitment on our nuclear deterrent, providing vital protection for the UK and our NATO allies in the years ahead, as well as supporting thousands of high-paying jobs across the UK. Defence Secretary Graham Sharp says 12 members of Starmer's front bench team, including Angela Rayner and David Lammy, voted against Trident. So Trident isn't exactly everybody's cup of tea, shall we say, in the Labour Party. So maybe that will be, obviously, that may be a conflicts of interest in there. But we'll obviously have to wait and see. Obviously, like you hear a lot, like the Conservatives, you hear a lot of words, and it's just like a lot of it doesn't flow into anything. When it's are Labour actually going to do more when it comes to defence? We just don't know, is the honest answer. I'd like to think yes. I do think they would actually. I like to think actually yes. I do think that they will do better than the Conservatives. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe some people will vehemently disagree and say no, there will be no different. And I know like a lot of people keep saying that Labour are going to be worse than the Conservatives. Like have you seen the last 14 years? Like, come on. Like, I know Labour aren't perfect. Like, Labour have a lot of issues. But you really have a choice between these two prime ministers and that. And that doesn't mean that we aren't going to hold that I myself and many other YouTubers on here aren't going to be holding Labour's feet to the fire. I do think that defence will be a lot better. Graham Sharps has been useless as defence secretary. He doesn't even know some of the basic things. So I think we'll have to wait and see, obviously. But these are the things that Labour and Sir Keir said. Whether they will or not, obviously, remains to be seen. When the manifestos come out, obviously, I will dive into them in further detail. But I want to know, what do you guys think about Labour and their plans for defence? UK's nuclear deterrent, how you feel about it? Do you feel safer, less safer with it in the hands of a Labour government than the Conservatives in the last 14 years? Do you think that Labour are going to keep to certain defensive pledges? Let me know your thoughts and more in the comment section down below. If you found this video informative, please hit the like button. We greatly appreciate it. Share it across social media so others are notified of this video. And subscribe because it really does help support the channel. And if you want to go one step further, financially support me and the work that I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p, or join me on Rumble, Facebook, or Patreon for exclusive content on those platforms. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope to catch you all very, very soon.